Time now for Business News. Rupiwa Madzena joining us. Hello, Rupiwa. So the good news that eNCA is taking to the skies, but real concerns about the fact that the due diligence and the plan with the equity partner has not been finalised.
That's right, and the reason that they came on board was to be the drivers of this new SAA, right, Sally? So the story here is that SAA is defending its decision to return to the skies next month. Now it comes as criticism mounts that it's too soon, as the deal with equity partner Takatso has not yet been finalised. The Takatso consortium will provide 3 billion rand in capital to the airline over the next 3 years, but it's still busy with its due diligence process before finalising that deal. Ticket sales for limited routes opened today, with flights scheduled from the 23rd of September. Interim CEO Thomas Khokolo says the airline must take off as it's been grounded for way too long.
We want to protect our routes, and we also want to make sure that we remain relevant on the market, because if you stay for too long, you lose that relevance. Then there will be phase two, and phase two is a bigger relaunch once the SEP has been signed on, so that can take us into the future. But where we are, that's why you will see the schedule that we have announced is much more smaller, because we want to make sure that we maintain the partnerships, we maintain our operating license as well, and hence the need to start at this stage. We are finalizing the process of an SEP.
On to the markets now. Not a great day at all. The local market closing over 0.5% in the red this afternoon. We saw in early afternoon trade that gold miners and resources were pulling the all share down, but the change that we've seen in the rand is that it's gaining some strength against the US dollar. Here's a look before we get into those numbers with Makwe Masilela. As I've mentioned, Makwe Masilela of Makwe Fund Managers has been watching the markets. He joins me now. Makwe, overall markets, I think it's been a very volatile trading period on the local bourse. One day we are comfortably in the green, led by good commodity prices, and then the next day it's a complete opposite. Talk us through what you thought about today's movements.
Afternoon to you and to the viewers. You are right, it's more of a yo-yo. And I think the whole thing here is, remember, we're looking forward to tomorrow's comments that's supposed to come out of the Jackson Hole Symposium, where we expect the US Fed to come with some comments, and that should be around 4 o'clock our time. But generally, the market has been quiet, leading to that symposium. But the fact that we've seen that the pandemic continues to be an issue with the numbers going up. And also today we've seen that the sell-off in Chinese tech stocks continues, so that itself has been rattling the markets. But it's more of a wait and see, to see what's going to be happening. But later in the session, then we got some news that some of the Fed officials, the regional ones, they're saying tapering must happen at a very fast pace. So now we're getting mixed signals, because at some point we're thinking that given that the economy is slowing, not just in the US but globally, then probably the US might not have to start tapering anytime soon.
Let's move on to some local company news out today. Let's start with Distel. They produced a solid set of numbers, but the story here is about the international market. Their exports have grown, and so they got a lot of their revenue from the offshore market. And no doubt that locally, the lockdowns, the alcohol bans that we saw did put some pressure on Distel.
Definitely, especially if you look at their international premium brands, they continue to grow strong, continue to make profits. You look into Africa itself, with this route to market expanding, the guys, Africa itself managed to grow their sales on the revenues by almost 22%. But yes, this is the company that has been doing well besides the lockdown issue. And I think they managed to get their distribution to be much better, even back home here, that they'll be able to move stuff around, to their warehouses. And it's not surprising to see their profits up almost 222%. But as you are saying, the guys have been exporting a lot, and you can see that from the excess duty that they have been paying, almost 8.3 billion that they've paid when it comes to that. But unfortunately, because the talks between them and the eNCA are continuing, and they expect to close those talks at least by end of September, the company has decided not to pay a dividend.
Very interesting insights there. And then the gift that keeps on giving today, Makwe, Woolworths, they're providing some solid numbers for the year, talking about the food business, which continues to grow just over 6%, I think it was, as well as the food, the clothing, home and beauty not doing too well, still feeling a little bit of pressure. But overall, Woolworths produced some solid numbers.
Definitely. When it comes to food, they're not just growing sales, but they're also growing the market share. And also, we know when it comes to fashion and beauty that, especially when it comes to formal wear, given that people have been restricted because of the lockdowns, then there's no demand out there. But they've been also helped by the properties that they sold in Australia. I think they got plus minus 9 billion rands, and they managed to use some of that money to pay their debt. Hence, they were able to reduce their debt by almost 91% to 1.1 billion. But yes, going forward, the guys with profits around 212%, you ask yourself that will they be able to continue on that trend? We'll still see if things gonna continue on that. But yes, the guys are continuing to do well. But anyway, grocery, remember, it has always been classified as essential services, and they will continue to operate, and there were no lockdowns when it comes to food.
And also they are working on improving on their online delivery, saying that they're going to be using quite a bit of their capital to develop that particular element of their business. And then there was also Italtile, which released its results talking about the fact that they're still benefiting from home improvements as more people work and study from home. But Makwe, we have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time. That is Makwe Masilela of Makwe Fund Managers giving us a wrap of your business day. So Sally, when we come back in the next bulletin, we're going to hear from the chief executive of Distal. Despite the problems of being able to sell or distribute alcohol in South Africa, the international business was good.
Yeah, that is quite astounding, actually, the bounce back factor. And certainly good news for our economy. I look forward to that interview. Thank you very much. Rupi, we're still to come.